right? Okay, so we're kind of wrapping up. You've been learning about some different systems, transport systems in plants and animals. And like Mr. Easton said, we're going to write a claim evidence reasoning. So our target for today is that we will argue our evidence on how the transport systems of animals and plants are similar and different. So you've been working with animals and plants in the transport system. So we want to see how are they alike and how are they different. So, but before we do a claim evidence reasoning, we're just going to kind of review what that formatting is. So, claim, kind of like your poster over here, is what you know. So that's always you're answering a question and you're putting down the answer to the question of how you're answering that question, and obviously you're answering it with what you know. And then the evidence is how you know. What are the things that you've collected through science lab, through notes that Mr. Easton's giving you, from stories that you've read, from information that you've collected. And then reasoning is explaining how you know your answer is correct using your observations. Does anyone know what we use to make observations with? Yeah, what's one thing?
Our eyes.
One thing to make observations with is our eyes. What's another one?
Maybe ears.
Your ears. Your nose. What else? Touch. So your hands.
Mouth.
Your mouth and taste. And there's 5 of them. Does anyone know what that's called then? There are 5 senses. So your evidence, you use your 5 senses to collect that data. Okay, so this is answering the question, your observation using your 5 senses, and then explaining how you know your answer is correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little review. I know that you have seen this before. It's My Dad's an Alien. Okay, do you remember watching this video? This little girl says, my dad's an alien. When she says my dad's an alien, is that the claim, her evidence, or her reasoning? It's her claim. That's what she thinks she knows. She believes that she knows her dad's an alien. So while we're watching the video, I want you to look for the evidence. What does she hear, see, taste, smell, or feel that tells her that her dad's an alien? And how does she explain how that leads her to the claim of he's an alien? Okay, so you're looking for what she observes and how she explains it.
Evidence that proves my dad's a space alien. He speaks a weird language. He drinks green stuff. He says he's from Albuquerque. I'm not buying it. I mean, just look at him. And one more thing, he has a spaceship. The evidence does apply. My dad's an alien.
The highly advanced Audi A6, named to car and driver's 10 vet.
Okay, I know it goes quick, so we're going to watch it one more time. But before we watch it one more time, I want you to talk with an elbow partner. And if you don't have an elbow partner, just slide closer to somebody. You can kind of make your group of 3. Talk about, we already said that the claim is she thinks her dad's a space alien. I want you to talk with your group. What's some evidence that she heard, saw, smelled, tasted, or felt, and how she explained it. And then we'll watch it again and see if we can add a little bit more to that. So talk to your elbow partner or a group of 3 that's really close by, real quick. Okay, so we already talked about the claim is her dad's a space alien. Who can share out what are some evidence that she saw, heard, tasted, smelled, or felt that made her believe her dad was a space alien?
The spaceship.
Okay, that would be part of her reasoning. What did she see that made her think her dad had a spaceship?
The uniform.
Oh, the bike uniform?
Yeah.
Okay, when he came out, she saw him dressed all in black, and it was a really tight outfit with a helmet, right? So when she saw that, she thought, that's kind of looks like an alien I've seen on TV or I've read about in books. Okay, so she saw him dressing weird.
He drank green stuff.
She saw him drink green stuff.
She saw and heard him talking.
She saw him and heard him talking a weird language, right?
He had a car that kind of looked like a spaceship.
Okay, and what did the car have that made it more like a spaceship than other cars?
The console.
The console, okay, it popped up with some stuff, and there's lights, so she saw all these things popping up and all these lights coming on.
He pushed a button and it started.
He pushed a button and all this stuff turned on, right? So she saw that happening.
He said he was from
So she heard him say he was from Albuquerque and she was little and she doesn't know where Albuquerque is, so she thinks that's a foreign place, right? So most of the evidence she collected, she saw or she heard. Okay? So now reasoning is, she says her dad's an alien, she sees all this, and why do you think she picked an alien when she gathered all this data?
Because that's the other alien. That's what she thinks of when she sees an alien.
That's what she thinks of when she hears the word alien. In her mind, when she sees or hears about aliens, she thinks that they dress weird,
Spaceship.
they talk different, they fly in a spaceship, and they're from somewhere different, right?
And they drink green stuff.
And they drink green stuff. So in a 4-year-old's mind, did he do things that an alien would do based off of TV and books and that kind of stuff? So
Yeah.
was she able to explain that her dad was an alien?
Yeah.
Now, was her claim right? Is her dad an alien?
You don't know that.
We don't know that, but we're gonna say no, right? So sometimes your claim isn't always correct, but your evidence and the way you explain it could be correct for the answer you came up with. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a claim evidence reasoning today with the information that you've learned through labs and readings and your storybooks.
Okay, so I have some packets for you actually that Mrs. Osterkamp so nicely printed off for us. So what you'll be using your journals for is more as a resource to help you with any sort of vocabulary or anything that you need to help find some evidence or some other things to help with your claim and to help with your reasoning. Okay, so I'll get these passed out. But while I'm passing these out, thank you. While Mrs. Osterkamp passes this out, let's take a look at what our focus question is. Okay, what are the similarities and differences between how plants and humans transport nutrients to their cells? Now, if you remember, we've done a couple different things dealing with that. Okay, we had fun one day with making our models, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did that deal with the transporting of nutrients in the human body? Who remembers that? Abby?
It's like the heart and
It was like the heart and the lungs, and what was it transporting?
like the light.
Yeah, it was simulating the transportation of blood in the body. Okay, so that's a big thing that we're going to utilize. We're going to look back at that to help us justify our claim, help us find some reasoning. We didn't specifically do anything huge with plants, but we did read a story that's going to help us a lot. Okay, and we talked about the different types of veins that leaves have and how it transports things. Do you remember one of my favorite words? Right, it's on the board actually.
Excellent.
Xylem, right? Okay, that's something that you'll see because that's how one of the ways that plants transport nutrients up through the roots and into the trunk and now up into the leaves. Okay, so we'll be drawing on a lot of things we've done. We've read 3 good stories that are going to really help us out. Okay, so our claim. Okay, that's what I know. Okay, so we're going to answer a question with what you know. All right. Our evidence, how we know it, is everything that we've collected using our 5 senses, like Mrs. Osterkamp talked about. And how is that going to support your claim? So we have evidence through stories and through experiments that'll help us justify our claim. It'll help us support that. And then lastly, with the reasoning, how do you know that your claim is correct, and what does our evidence tell you? Okay, so using everything that we have, using all of our evidence, how is that supporting and how is that showing us that our claim is going to be correct? So our question again is, what are the similarities and differences between how plants and humans transport nutrients to their cells? So can we create a claim based upon that? Okay, that should be your first step. Okay, any questions about the actual process of completing a claim evidence reasoning? Do you think that helped you out? You ready to go? Give it a shot?